Do not settle for a life that does not belong to you. Uncover and activate your fullest potential in this lifetime. Live your greatest life experience.
This is the Full Potential Living Podcast with Coach Eric Ferguson.
Hello and welcome to the Full Potential Living Podcast, where we're here to wake up the human race one powerful conversation at a time so that you can self-actualize holistically in the most important areas of your life. This show is for anybody fascinated by growth, transformation, and becoming the very best version of who you know you can be. If you're listening today, you have the deep desire and potential to live your version of your best life. In this podcast, we dive deep into personal growth, entrepreneurship and business, relationships and community, health and longevity, and consciousness, so that you can unlock your full potential and create a life that's not just successful in one area, but you live your full potential in every important bucket of life. Today, we've got a special guest by the name of Stephen Haynes. Stephen Haynes is the founder of Fjord Cold Plunges, one of Austin, Texas' fastest growing performance and recovery brands, known for making the market's most reliable cold plunge and cultivating high impact wellness culture. With a background in fitness, biohacking, entrepreneurship, and even consulting, Stephen has built a community around mental toughness, resilience, and longevity. His work blends science-backed recovery practices with a mission to help people elevate their physical, emotional, and mental performance. Today, he's not just a business owner, he's a leader in Austin's wellness movement, inspiring thousands to push their limit and live at a higher standard, y'all. Welcome, Stephen Haynes, to the podcast. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you so much.
Let's jump back in because I feel like you said some really powerful things around belief.
Yeah.
And people can kind of understand who you are.
Yeah, because I think you were just asking about, why I feel blessed. And I was trying to answer that.
Yeah. It was really an awesome answer because I felt like it was belief was the first one, connection with your spirituality with God.
Yes.
Knowing God, belief that you are blessed, reflecting on
choosing to believe it,
right? And I think that's something people can glean from you. It's something I do in my coaching a lot. Like so much of it is mindset.
Yes.
So much of it is just what you believe.
Yes.
So you can literally just choose to believe to be blessed.
Yes.
And that's why I loved your answer.
Sure.
So wonderful life, in the past, and I love how you view it. And it seems to me like you're a very balanced, like level-headed guy too. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I think overall, yes. And I will admit, though, that I have been trained for 15 years to be the duck that is paddling like crazy under the surface and looks super calm on the actual surface above water by consulting. That's the whole special skill set that one needs to cultivate to be on stage in front of a bunch of older executives time after time in your 20s.
Wow. So how does that show up in your business?
In my business now?
Yeah.
I feel like it's more effortless now than it was in my previous career because I can truly just be myself. And I find that is the most authentic representation to customers, to partners, to influencers that I work with and other people. They like that. They see it. It's rare for a lot of customers or, gyms, individuals, partners to be interfacing directly with the founder of the company. And that's something that I just really like doing. That's something that makes me feel alive because my whole ethos is relationships are what drive everything.
Yeah.
I think it's important when somebody's buying a $7,000 cold plunge to have built a rapport with them and have the opportunity to understand them a little bit more. What are their needs? What are they trying to aim at? And, you know, is my product the right product for them? It's almost like a consultation and an education. You know, our product is very different and unique in the market, and that requires some education. That doesn't always just come through on the website, for example.
Yeah, and we definitely going to get into that and what really separates your company and how you've built it. And that's awesome that you take that consulting approach, like that you care. Using your background and you care about doing a good job for them, not just trying to sell them something.
Sure.
Right? So that's always good business. So what is your wildest story from your childhood or just from earlier in your life that led you to who you are today?
Ooh.
Enneagram 7?
Goodness, there's so many things I could pull from right now. Wildest story, you know. I guess there's a couple things. Can I share 2 things?
Yeah, go for it.
When I was in college, I had the opportunity. I was in the business program there, and we got really lucky and had an opportunity to go up to Omaha, Nebraska, and meet with Warren Buffett. And I actually did this 2 years in a row. So I got kind of 2 opportunities to meet with him. And you're hanging out with Warren Buffett for, you know, 3 to 4 hours each of the times.
Wow.
You would meet him for lunch. We would go to a steak restaurant, you know, just a basic, you know, country fried steak type place. And have lunch with them. It was me and 9 other people, so 10 students from Texas A&M in the business program, and just pick his brain. And then we went back to Kiewit Plaza, where his headquarters is for Berkshire Hathaway, and got to do a Q&A with them for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he was comical and funny. Some of the insights that he shared were incredible. And just having the opportunity to kind of meet with them. And at one point when we were finishing lunch with him, you know, we're a bunch of college students, and we're sitting there with at the time the world's richest man, and you know, it was one of those places that's so old school that the waiter doesn't come over and give you the bill. It's one of those that you pay at the register on the way out of the restaurant. This is in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. And so all of us are leaving the table, and Buffett's kind of taking his time. He's kind of the last one to get up from the table, and we're all going, and we don't know, did he pay for this? Should we queue up at the register? So some of us start queuing up at the register, and then finally he gets up and starts walking out, kind of walks out towards the exit and looks back and says, "Don't worry about it, boys. Come on out and join me. I've already, I wrote them a hot check, and they won't find out for 2 weeks."
They won't find out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. Sure, he's got some kind of, you know, deal there. And then the second thing actually happened in May of 24 when I went on vacation with a good friend of mine named Caleb, and we went to Norway and rented his house on the side of a fjord. Kind of a pilgrimage back to, you know, Norway. I used to work in Norway on the West Coast in my oil and gas projects. And so I said, I've seen some of these things. I got to show my good friend. We got to go there and check out this nature. It's next level. So we rented a house, and the water in the fjord when we were there in May of 24 was somewhere around 49, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And I just decided, like, you know, hey, I'm going to endeavor to swim from here to the other side and back. Yeah. Which was probably about 750 meters. And I used to do that distance all the time for sprint triathlons. And so I kind of knew what it meant. No wetsuit, of course. So jump in, got the goggles on, and you immediately kind of get that cold shock. Like you just jumped into a cold plunge. Yeah. And I had been training up to that point, lowering the temperature of my Fjord Cold Plunge at my house from the high 40s to the mid to the low 40s to high 30s to mid 30s.
This is like 2020?
This is in 2024, last year. Oh. But leading up to it for about 6 months, I was acclimating myself to colder and colder cold plunges and getting my breathing under control faster, getting used to it, building up that mental toughness. Yeah. And so when I got into Fjord, I started swimming with my goal of making it this roughly 750 meters, and realized about 300 meters in, not quite to the other side, I'm really having trouble controlling my breath. And I'm really cold.
You're in the middle of it.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, should I turn back? Is this irresponsible? There's no one out there. And my roommate hates, he doesn't hate cold water, but he's not going to get in and swim after me and save me, Caleb. And so,
holy shit.
Yeah. And so I really realized I really am by myself and I'm on my own. And I think I'm going to be okay. I'm a competitive swimmer and I'm really used to cold water, but it was a challenge like I had never experienced before. And I thought, I'm not sure if this is responsible or not, if this is okay. And then I just thought, it's okay. You need to get one stroke at a time, one breath at a time, and you're going to be okay. And I just kept swimming and I got to the other side. By the time I got to the other side, I was a little bit more acclimated. My heart rate had slowed down. My breathing had gotten a little more under control. I was very cold, but I just, kicked off the rock and started swimming back and popped out. And Caleb is hilarious, standing on the dock, already filming me and just interviewing me right when I get out of the water. And I'm like shaking, like trying to answer his questions, but also feeling this euphoria. It was a crazy experience.
How did you mentally make it through that? Like you're 300 meters in to the first, to go there, right?
Yeah.
Was it 300, 750 meters there? And
no round trip.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you made it to the other side.
Yeah.
You were almost halfway and you had to make it all the way back.
Yeah.
How did you mentally make it through?
The swim took about 20 minutes. And at my house before, I had done 20 minutes at 49 degrees before in my cold plunge.
Okay.
And it wasn't moving water as much. But I knew that it was going to be okay. I knew it was possible. And it was not going to result in hypothermia. And it was just more one stroke at a time. Yeah. One breath at a time. Okay. And just maintain and just keep going. Yeah. So I do think that I had a history of running triathlon. Yeah. And that was something I had to build mentally when running and pushing your limit, or swimming and pushing your limit, is just thinking about one more stroke, one more breath. Yeah. One more stride, one more breath.
Yeah. Powerful how those mental frameworks can help you, not just in sports, but in business.
100%.
After, right? Like, okay, where I'm at today, if I just keep taking one step in my business forward, I'm going to get to where I want to go.
That's right.
Absolutely. So then, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Please go.
All right. 5 rapid fire questions. Well, maybe 6. 6. First of all, what are 5 core values that are true to who you are in your business and life?
5 core values would be integrity, trust, the importance of relationships, honesty. All these things kind of wrap together. Yeah. And then, I think it's probably generosity. Don't be a taker, but also understand, put yourself in someone else's shoes. How can you help them?
Boom. What are 3 things that give you purpose in life?
Gives me purpose is believing that I have a purpose, that I'm here because of God for some reason. He's put me here, and every day he wakes me up one more time. Yeah. That's amazing. Don't deserve that. Number 2, purpose would be around, creating an opportunity, a vehicle, an environment, for tools for people to improve their health and well-being, to improve their life. I believe health is like sort of a foundation that you need to have to operate at full potential.
100%.
Purpose number 3 would be to, that's a great question. What would be purpose number 3? Eric?
Anything that gives you purpose in life. Yes. You said God, health.
Yeah. God, and this sort of the mission of bringing that to others. Yeah. And then, number 3 might be just the purpose of just loving people in my community and building community so that more and more people can thrive off relationships and not be lonely.
Boom. Yeah. That's that's crucial this day and age. What makes you a leader?
A leader is only a leader if people believe in them and have opted in to following that leadership. I think leadership is something that's earned. The proof is in the pudding. I've been a leader is also a servant. I mean, Jesus was a leader, and he said, "I came to serve."
I love that.
Right, and so I think that if you put yourself in a situation where you're really trying to create value and give something of value to others through your opting in to guiding or facilitating or creating a path, then, by default, if that value proves to be something that others see, you end up in a leadership position. So that could look like leading a Bible study or facilitating a Bible study. That could look like, leading Fjord, leading a company that has a mission.
Boom. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Favorite color as a kid?
Green.
That hasn't changed. Biggest goal in 2026?
Biggest goal in 2026 is to take Fjord to the next level. Kind of a boring question, but boring answer. Great question. Okay, so, we're going to close our very first investment round soon. Yes. And then really taking the next step to build out the Fjord team.
Yeah.
Continue to market, start to really market in new ways, get the value proposition out there and
Boom.
And grow this business.
Wow. I can't wait to hear about that in a second. Last one. 3 obscure or odd things that make you you.
Oh, goodness.
I'm challenging you today.
Obscure.
Weird or odd or different. Unique. You could say unique.
I am pretty quirky.
Yeah.
I really like puns and word art, if you will. So I actually competed in the O. Henry World Championships pun off twice because I just love puns and thinking on the spot.
Pun off, wow.
And I also, even going all the way back to early college to current, I like to freestyle rap.
What?
It's like, give me a topic and I'll start rapping on it. Don't test me on the podcast.
I was going to say.
But yeah, it's just it's this creativity outlet for me to do puns and rapping. So that's kind of weird. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. Great answers. And this is right up your alley, like on the spot. So let's dive into Fjord and what you're building. How did it start? So people understand the story of it and what's behind it. How did Fjord Cold Plunges get its legs?
Yeah. I think, it started off a bit as an accident, and then it became an experiment. And then it became, a full-on my life's business, my life's goal.
Yeah.
So the accident was that because I knew I loved cold water already, all the way back to 2015, when I was working in Norway and swimming in the fjords a little bit.
Right.
I knew I wanted a cold plunge about 3.5 years ago, and I built one DIY. My friends came over, they wanted to try it out. And then they said, "I love this thing. Can you make me one?" And I would make one for a friend and another friend and another friend. And now their friends are coming over, seeing their cold plunges and giving me calls. So I'm now getting orders from strangers. Then it became an experiment. So I said, I'm going to give myself 1 year to try this business out. And go full time and quit my job, create an LLC, professionalize the product, do all these things. And the reason why I gave myself a 1 year experiment is to give myself the psychological safety to take the risk to be a first time entrepreneur. Because I had a nice cushy job as a director at a consulting firm.
Right.
And it was very, a stable type situation. And then just decided, I want to give this a shot. And the worst case scenario is I go back into a normal job. Well, the entire first year was very difficult and we made a lot of mistakes and we lost a lot of money. And at the end of the first year, I thought, well, the experiment didn't go as I had hoped. And then, you start to, along the way, I built some really cool relationships with other founders and people in the wellness space. And they encouraged me that, dude, the first year, 2 years, 3 years, I mean, it's tough. You've got to endure, and it's those that win are the ones that outlast.
Right.
And after the 1 year mark, we started getting some progress. And at the 1.5 year mark, we got our current product dialed in. We got it right finally, and it became reliable. We went to American-made products, American-made, chillers, pumps, the systems we're building here in Austin, Texas, right? Ourselves. We have a team. We build them. We don't order them all in one from China off Alibaba, which a lot of our competitors do. And it just makes all the difference in the quality and the reliability.
Yeah, because you've built it yourself to make it super reliable. So why build the most reliable cold plunge?
That's a great question, because there's such a need for one. There's not another one out there that I'm aware of. Our products since we got it right a year and a half ago, the new version of the product, our failure rate has been 2%, meaning in both cases it was an electrical issue that was fine, and we handled it under warranty, and we provided a brand new machine to the customer and so forth. But 2%, 2 out of 150 units that we had sold in the last year and a half was had issues. And you might think, oh, well, that's kind of that's kind of high. The industry average is about 40%.
Whoa.
Between 30 and 50%, depending on the company. This is why Edge Theory went out of business. You can read all about it online. I'm not making this up. Same reason Odin went out of business. Again, you can read all on Reddit. And other companies are also really struggling. Probably 50% of the sales that I make, especially on the commercial side, are the result of replacing broken cold plunges, multiple times broken, from other big name cold plunge companies.
Wow.
And so, we saw a need in the market for a more reliable cold plunge. There was a huge gap there. Yeah. And that's a gap that we're trying to address at Fjord.
Wow. I love that. 40% is the average, and you guys fail at 2%.
Yes, that's what the data is showing us so far.
So far. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So then, I was going to ask what sets Fjord Cold Plunges apart? I mean, that's one way, but is there anything else that sets it apart?
The ethos of it as well, right? So, it's I would say as far as I know, and as far as what I've heard as well, anecdotally from many, many, many people, 300 conversations with people that own other cold plunges, we offer the best in class customer service. So, if you buy a cold plunge from Fjord today, you are welcome to, and probably will, have a conversation with me or someone senior from my team. And you will have access to my cell phone number, my email. We will respond. You will have an Austin-based team that cares a lot, servicing you if you have any questions about filter maintenance, or if you have any issues. We're there to help and support. And I think that's something that you hear a lot of complaints about from other companies, where you're having to put in a ticket online. Maybe somebody in India at a call center is handling the calls. You're waiting forever for a part. They won't send out a tech. And it's just, your cold plunge is down for 6 weeks, and then you eventually get really annoyed, and you find out about Fjord, and you buy a Fjord. That's what's happened a lot.
That's amazing.
So I think the level of our attention to our customers and the customer service sets us apart quite a bit. And I would say maybe the other thing that we're doing differently is we host a lot of events. We care a lot about people and community and relationships. So, that's something that we've tried to do as well with the brand. We activated Running Man in September. We were the sole cold plunge sponsor and partner with Running Man, and brought up 18 cold plunges, a team of 9 people. And all the things I heard from the coordinators and from the repeat attendees was, we've never seen a cold plunge activation like this. You guys have a vibe that you're bringing.
A vibe, an ethos, a vibe, reliability, care, support. I love that. What I love the most is especially when you're buying something that is a higher price, like, do the people actually care? And are they actually there for you? The fact that you're, the one handling it a lot of the time is amazing. I love that customer service. But for the people like listening out there, that might be business owners, or entrepreneurs, or even former athletes, but anybody listening that's like, okay, I want to up-level my health. Why should they potentially, if they have the ability, like, why should they start cold plunge? Why should they, look into cold plunging as a part of their routine?
Absolutely. I think it's worth it and such a good idea for people to just at least give it a shot and give it a try. Cold plunge, cold water immersion is one tool in a tool belt that has a lot of other tools. Sauna, exercise, cardio, weightlifting, resistance training, healthy nutrition. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's important. Yeah. And cold plunge is not the one panacea cure-all. But let's think about this. It provides health benefits that have been, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials, Mendelian randomization studies that have shown tremendous amount of efficacy in terms of mental health, in terms of metabolic health, in terms of reduction of inflammation and reduction of DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, in athletes. That's what it was known for originally. Mood boosting, all kinds of good things. It's so good for you. And let's think about this. You're getting all that without taking a pill. It's non-pharmacological. There's no side effects. Besides, you get a little uncomfortable for 3 or 4 minutes. And, it's also this concept that you get into a practice of that, or even you just do it a couple times even, and you have won the day because you've already opted in to something uncomfortable. Yes. And you had to overcome that with some mental toughness. Now, what can you do in your first meeting of the day?
Ooh, I love that. And so for people out there, I love the mental health side too, because we think of the physical benefits right away. But I definitely noticed, like we kind of talked about last time, coming out of the cold plunge, the first time I did it in Austin last year, like in a while. I hadn't done it since college because we used to have to do it. But I did it for the first time and I got out. I have a video of it and I was literally just laughing for like 20 minutes. I was just by myself. Like I was at the Sapien Center and I was just visiting Austin for the first time.
That's great.
My buddy was like, yeah, come check out Austin. And I was just laughing for 20 minutes. It was like uncontrollable. I was like, what's going on? Am I like releasing trauma? Am I like, what is this? And I felt so good after. And my legs were just like tingling and numb. And I was like, oh my God, it's been so long since I've taken a cold plunge. But so I think there's mental health benefits too for anybody that might be, a high performer, just somebody, we're all stressed. Yeah, we're all working hard. Regardless of what level you're at, so so you think the anxiety, depression, or just stressful helps with that?
Well, first of all, shout out to the Sapien Center. Brian Sanders is a good friend. It's a spot where I started doing some of my early networking in the wellness space in Austin.
I know, me too.
So great guy. What you were experiencing coming out of that was a 250% up from baseline increase in dopamine. Which is commensurate, from what I've been told and what's shown in the studies, of doing cocaine, for example. However, the 250% up from baseline on cocaine lasts for about 30 minutes, and then you need more. Right. The cold plunge lasts for 4 to 6 hours, and it's natural. Your body just does this, and they actually did a study. This was really interesting. They did a study on runners, elite, I believe it was college D1 track runners.
Okay.
They were curious if doing a cold plunge before a track workout or a meet would improve performance or not, or reduce performance. They didn't know. Yeah. So they took a control group, had them do the workout. They took the other half and they had them go through a legit cold plunge session, 5 minutes at, I believe it was 47 degrees or something. And then they did the workout. They warmed up a little bit and they did the workout. And they found that the athletes that performed better was the cold water immersion cohort, interestingly enough. And so then one of the takeaways, one of the beliefs around why that happened is not because necessarily of a physical muscular benefit, but it was because they had an extra level of motivation and mental toughness. And they just believed they could push harder than the others.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the dopamine they're saying, it was the
dopamine.
mental
The
toughness.
dopamine is part of what unlocks that motivation feeling. So yes, there is probably a chemical and hormone related, impact that is resulting in these things, because your physical and mental body, everything's tied together.
Yeah.
But you shift. It's like what Tony Robbins says: shift your state, shift your mind.
Yeah.
Shift your presence.
See different results.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yes. I love that. Wow. So definitely some powerful reasons why people should at least look into putting that a part of their routine. Is it best to do it like in the morning, in the evening? Probably the morning, right? Or what do you think?
I think it's individual preference, and everyone's body is different. Everyone's daily cadence and schedules and what they need is different. For me personally, what I find is if I so the number one reason that I cold plunge personally is to help me with sleep, because I've always had trouble falling asleep. Two things: I've got some restless leg syndrome going on, which is a nervous system situation. And then I've also just always had kind of insomnia, trouble sleeping. And I noticed when I do a cold plunge in the afternoon or early evening, I get better sleep and fewer restless leg, symptoms. And I did a bunch of research on this stuff, on how it could be helping restless legs.
Yeah.
And, we don't have to go into it all because it's probably less relevant for most people in the audience, but the restless leg syndrome, if you do have it, you should try cold water immersion. It will have an impact there because of the dopamine release specifically.
Wow. So it helps with sleep. So that's the number one reason you do it.
That's why I personally do it, besides the fact that I just enjoy it.
Yeah. The mental toughness aspect, especially in this day and age when we have so much comfort in things that come that fast on our phones. We can order Uber Eats. We can order a car. We can order whatever we want to come to our door and just, I've got supplements. I've got this new book. I've got this whatever.
That's right.
Just coming to our door like instantly. But it's like we have to train our minds. We have to train our minds in uncomfortable situations to grow and to be the best version of who we are and to be happy too, It's like I met somebody yesterday, and we're having a great conversation. And then she's like, I'm just like too comfortable in life. I just like, which is a blessing, right? I mean, to be in that position. Not everybody's there, but it's like she needed to literally challenge herself. It's funny that this is coming up because yesterday she's literally like, I'm here because I need to mentally challenge myself. I'm too comfortable in my life. Yeah. And some people are like that. Some people aren't, of course. But I think we all need that practice and to uncomfortably train our minds to be positive, like you said. So the cold plunge helps us with that. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your company and like how you've built it, because I do think that's an interesting thing for entrepreneurs out there to understand, and then we'll wrap it up with the question I ask everybody and where to find you.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think to have if you're dealing with a physical product, or I mean, this goes true for a service as well, but we're in the world of hardware, right? We're in physical product. Yeah. I think step one was getting the product right, and for us, it took us 1.5 years to get the product right. Lots of testing, lots of trial, R&D, learning as we go, iterating. Right. Have an engineer that's been really helpful as well. So I think step number one in growing the business took a long time, which was just getting the product right and starting to build some fans, starting to create a community, starting to build the brand. Organically. Build the brand. Everything we've done, even up to this point, almost 3 years in, has been 100% organic. Yeah. We've never run a Google ad or a Meta ad. Haven't spent a single dollar on it. And so all of our business that's been growing, and it's just been up and to the right, the quarter over quarter revenue for the last 2 years is just, growth. There's no seasonality to it. It just keeps growing, which is great for us because I think the product is resonating, and, getting that product to market fit correct And for us stepping into the space of reliability so that we can stand behind, we're not just another cold plunge company. We actually are doing things differently. That's helped a lot for us to actually have a message and have a mission and be able to help people and have happy customers. That's the reason why we are able to grow organically. We don't advertise because our customers refer us to other customers, to their neighbors or to other gyms, you know, and stuff like that. And because they love the product. You want someone to love the product and to love the connection and the relationship with the business. Yeah. And so we have 1,000 true fans. We don't have millions of people that are aware of our brand. And that's the next step in growth is really getting on a megaphone, using some paid ads and putting that value proposition out there, welcoming more people into the Fjord family.
Yeah. Oh, I love the way you put that. Yeah. It's so important this day and age for whatever product people are going to buy that they trust you and they see you and they see who you are, because they're going to buy your cold plunge from this podcast today because they're going to know Stephen and be like, you know what, maybe a cold plunge would be something I would look into. What's the first place I'm going to look? And maybe it's 6 months later, a year later, is like building brand trust and just trust with people. So crucial. So I love the way you're doing it, you know, because that's so important this day and age, especially. Yeah. So I love it, man. Yeah. And I ask everybody this question. I think I asked it to you before. We'll ask it in this podcast of like, if you had to fast forward to the end of your life, fast forward, you might be on your deathbed. You might be, you know, somewhere where you know you're about to pass away. You kind of know, but you want to pass away with peace. You want to go to the next life. You want to go to where you're headed with peace. If you were to look back at your life, what would be 2 to 3 things that would allow you, your soul, to go, you know what? I'm okay with how I lived I feel amazing with how I lived my life, and I'm okay to pass away with peace. What would that be for you?
In other words, I lived to my full potential.
Yes.
Or close to it.
Yeah.
Wow. And I love the way you framed that, because you talked about your soul feeling at peace.
Yes.
This is not about how I'm going to feel about my business necessarily.
Right.
I think that one of the litmus tests is looking back and saying there were great, maybe you used to ask for 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So number 1, let's just start with something, which is there are great things that I want to be doing in this life, great experiences that I want to have. It is so important to me to be going on adventures with friends, with loved ones, with significant others, and having those experiences, whether it's climbing a mountain with my good friends and hiking, or jumping into an alpine lake, or traveling to Norway with a good friend and swimming in the fjords. Going to that festival, you know, that's an epic festival, activating it myself, you know, Running Man was a bucket list type thing. And just put these things, Jesse Itzler talks about it, and so does Bill Perkins in his book, Die With Zero, which is there are certain things, experiences that you can have in your 20s, maybe 30s, that you can't have in your 60s, because your friends are going to be married with kids and grandkids and living different places, and they're not going to have the same physical fitness to go do those mountain hikes and alpine climbs. So if you're going to sit there and work and work and work until you have this big nest egg, until you take time for yourself and have adventures, it's too late. You have missed it. And I don't want to get on that treadmill. I want to make sure my entire life is littered with intentionally planned adventures. And if I can look back on my deathbed and see, man, I lived a whole full life.
Yes.
That's number 1. Number 2 would just be that I believe that I lived in such a way where I was super authentic. I was authentic with myself and with the people that I was in relationship with. I was present. I loved them well. I cared for them. However it worked out, I was trying my best and I was putting my soul into it, and I didn't have some ulterior motives. I think that's what the values that you asked me about earlier, living with integrity, living with honesty, living with authenticity, loving others well. being open and generous with your life. I think those things are really important. If I die on my deathbed and can look back and say I had a bunch of great adventures and I lived with authenticity, then we're in good shape.
Bam. I love that. Great way to wrap it up. Great way to wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being on the Full Potential Living podcast, man. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to be here in Austin as part of your community, as just getting to know you as a person.
Likewise.
It's cool, man. And I'm going to be here for a while. So look forward to building a relationship and seeing how I can support you in your endeavors, because I believe you're doing a good thing for the world.
Thank
you so much for coming on, brother. What is your pin on the internet? Where can people find you? Where can they find your cold plunge?
Yep. So we're our website is fjordcoldplunge.com. That's FJORD, fjordcoldplunge.com. You can also find us on Instagram at the same name, Fjord Cold Plunge. Same with TikTok. We're not doing a lot with it right now. LinkedIn, you can find me, Stephen Haynes, or Fjord Cold Plunge on LinkedIn. And you can email me as well. If you're out there listening, you want to email me. We should actually put that in the show notes. But Stephen, Steven, at Fjord Cold Plunge. So reach out or DM me on Instagram and we'll get in touch. Because like I said earlier, I understand a lot of people are going to buy an expensive, nice cold plunge that you maybe don't know enough about.
Yeah.
Give us a call. We're here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely put all of that in the show notes for you guys to check out, to reach out to Stephen via email, check out the website, learn more. And so you can get your own cold plunge and take your health, longevity, probably your consciousness, your business to a whole new level, because you're a healthier, more resilient you. So go and find Stephen, go check out his cold plunge. And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Stephen.
That's it. Thanks, man.
It. Boom. Remember, you guys, full potential or nothing. Peace.
Do not settle for a life that does not belong to you. Uncover and activate your fullest potential in this lifetime. Live your greatest life experience.
This is the Full Potential